Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Sorry I'm a mess. As usual, I'm always a mess. So we are on our last two blocks for this block of the month. And we're about to finish up. Now we do have extra blocks. I think we have 5. I've got 3 right now, and I messaged Peggy about the other 2. There should be 2 more. So it should be a total of 5 more blocks. And that way if you wanted to add another row to your quilt, you could. Yeah, so block 19 and 20. So if you're new here, what we're doing is a mystery star block of the month, and every month we do a different insert and we set that in star legs. If you need the directions for the star legs and the sizes and stuff, go back to the very first video in this playlist, and that was the very first thing that I go over once we got started. So yeah, and also stick around and I'll show you mine up. This is not it, but once I get it these blocks done, I'll put it up on the wall and show you guys what mine is going to look like. Now for these last 2 blocks, I'm not going to add the star legs on camera. You guys know how that goes by now. It's the same on every block, but we're just going to do the inserts just for time's sakes and get those done. So block 19 is called Devil's Claw, and it's going to be hard to see in this picture. But you do need some contrast to get this block. The picture, I'm sure the block looks okay in person, but on the picture it just doesn't look like it has a lot of contrast. But you definitely need 2 contrasting fabrics. Your light fabric, you're going to need 2 4 1/4 inch squares cut twice diagonally, corner to corner. You're only going to need 6 of those triangles. You're also going to need 2 3 3/8 inch squares cut once diagonally. And then you will need, from your dark fabric, 2 4 1/4 inch squares cut twice diagonally again. You're only going to need 6 of those triangles. And again, 2 3 3/8 inch squares cut once diagonally. She has triangles written here, but I'm pretty sure it meant squares, so I've never cut. And if not, it's something I've never done. I've never cut a triangle diagonally once. I don't think, yeah, I think it's all squares. For looking at the diagram, I'm pretty sure it's squares, and then we cut them. Okay, I got it. All right, we're good. Now, because these are 2 different sizes, but everything's triangles, try to keep your piles together. You know, you've got your bigger ones, and then these are the 4 1/4 ones, smaller ones. Now this is going to be a little tricky, but I'm going to try to explain this as best as I can. We're going to do a layout first. There is a diagram here to show you how to lay it out. So we'll lay it out and then we'll begin sewing it together in little units. So let's get started on that. Okay, so now there is a diagram here and it's lettered with the letters so you know which piece goes where, and each piece size is lettered. She also has a fabric diagram here, and because I get confused really easy, what I did is I cut everything apart and then brought them up here. So these are my 4 1/4 inch dark. These are my 4 1/4 inch, what would be my light. This is my 3 3/8 inch light and 3 3/8 inch dark. So then we can go by the letters on the diagram here to lay this out. It's going to be a little complicated, and I'm angrily challenged, so I had to do it this way so I know which pile to pull from. Also, because of the way the triangles are, you know, we're going to be sewing on short sides and on long sides, so we need to make sure that we have them correct. So it's going to be a little confusing, but just take your time and do one at a time, one section at a time, and you'll be able to get it laid out. So let's get this laid out, and you guys can watch me struggle. Okay, so I'm just going to use the diagram here. So, and I'm also going to use my letters here. So B is my light out of my 2 3/8 inch square. So that goes up here in the corner. And I'm just going down and doing these outside and then this inside. You'll see it when you get the pattern piece for the diagram. And then C is one of my 4 1/4 inch dark squares. And we're going to be sewing on the short sides of it. So it looks like it goes there. Let's see, C, yep, those out of my 4 1/4 inch square. And then A is, let's see here. Whoops, yeah, C is my 4 1/4 inch square. B is, oh, this is, I'm sorry. Yep, that's the 3 3/8 inch, okay. And then A is the light 4 1/4. So it's going to go there. This one looks awful big though. That's why I'm kind of curious. Let me double check this. Okay, according to the gut diagram, that's right. And then we'll have another C right here, which is out of my 4 1/4 inch square. It's going to go like this, and then another B. Okay, so that's this very first line right here. And then on this across the top, we have a D, which is the dark 2 3/4. There's 2 D's. One goes like this. One goes like this. And then we have an A, which is... Boy, those triangles seem awful big, don't they? Let me finish getting this laid out and let's make sure. Okay. And then a B up in the corner here. And then a C, which is the 4 1/4 dark. So it goes right there. And then an A, which is the 4 1/4 light. Goes right there. And another C goes right there. And then a B goes right there. Okay. And then D is the last 2. So it's going to go here and here. There we go. Yeah, these triangles really are throwing me for a loop. And it looks like I'm missing a square. Oh, well, I guess it goes up here. Okay, and then an A is one of these. Okay, I've got all the pieces. So then we have an A, an A. I guess we're going to have to do a lot of trimming down because... Okay, all the pieces are correct. They all fit together. What a puzzle. And of course, naturally, we got to get these sewn. These triangles just seem like they're too big for that, but I don't think so. I think once we get them sewn and trim, yeah. So there is the layout. I don't know. Hopefully you guys can see pretty good since I'm using gray fabric. But I just did it in sections. And then we'll just sew, you know, the sections and then connect them all together. Okay, so it's going to be a lot of back and forth with the camera work. So what we're going to do first, these are the corners. They're going to go on last. So we're going to sew these sections here first. I'm going to bring that up to my sewing machine on each side. The corners go on last. So I'm going to bring that up here to my sewing machine. And I'll turn you around here so you can see. Okay, so these are those 2 middle sections. And these are all going to fit on there just like they should. So I'm just going to flip this one over, right sides together. And we'll stitch down this one side. And you should have just a wee bit hanging over. Not much at all, not even an 1/8 of an inch. And let's see if that is going to, nope, that's not going to match. Okay, let me pull this out. So what I'm going to do, let's see if we can center these. Boy, Peggy's, and I knew I waited on these to do these last for a reason. Now I know why. Okay, so this goes like that, and this goes like that. So I'm going to line up, because I bet you if we do it, yeah, let's see here. That goes like that, and that, nope. There we go. Okay. So if I line up these bottom points, I was going to cut all this out of the video, but you know what? This is part of... Let me put a pin in this and see. If I'm leaving 1/4 of an inch over here, I want to see if that is going to So I'm putting a pin about where my sew line would be, my stitch line. And then if we opened it, that should be right. Okay. All right, so here's our pieces. So when you flip this over, you need to leave about 1/4 of an inch here overhang. And that should, when you open it up, then you should be correct. I don't know how Peggy managed to get this done without losing her mind. So when you open it up, there we go. Okay. So now it matches this point and this point when it's open. You can kind of see it's still, because it's triangles and we've got angles in there, it doesn't make sense, but it works. So when you flip this one over, leave it about 1/4 of an inch and sew down the side. All right, and then press this one open. Okay, so now I've got a good, nice, solid line up here on the very top to make that particular unit. All right, and this one goes like this. And then we've got the corner units that go on there like that. So, same thing again, you're going to have to leave. See, that seems like it's awful big because when you open it, maybe not. Let's try it before we sew that other one. So I'm going to leave 1/4 of an inch over. Let me see when I press that open. Yeah, that worked out good. We'll just have to trim it. All right, so I left 1/4 of an inch on the top, and now I've got a nice solid line across the top. We'll just have to trim this bottom piece off there. So, okay. So there's this other corner. So again, I'm going to leave, when you have it on here, I'm going to leave 1/4 of an inch toward the top or the outside. And then that should, I was going to just scrap this and do another block, but now I want to get it done. So let's see if we can do this. Surely we can. And then we'll press that one open, and oh, I'm off just a wee bit. Okay, I'm just going to pull that out and move it up just a little bit. I am so sorry. I hope I am not confusing you guys even worse, but you know, I'm figuring this out just like you guys are, and yeah, we can do this. We have all got the skill set to do this. It's just triangles. It's not that difficult. Keep telling yourself that. It's not that difficult. You do have the skills to do this. All right, so 1/4 of an inch. There we go. I didn't have that moved up far enough. Okay, 1/4 of an inch. There we go. Put that under there. Make sure your seams are laying flat. There we go. Okay, so now I've got a nice straight line across here on the top. So that is one unit that goes on the side. So let's do this other unit. I'm going to lay that back where it goes. All right, and again, so we're going to do 1/4 of an inch. Let's see, this is going to be my top, so I'm going to leave 1/4 of an inch here. And stitch. Okay. Press that open. All right. So I'm considering the outside edge my top, just so in case you know, so I know, I'm trying to give myself a reference point so I know which way to turn these and which way to go with them. So, all right, here we go. Plus, it gives me something to go on, you know, so I know if my pieces are on correctly. So, like this one is not. I have to move it up just a little bit. So, I will just pull this out right quick. Oh, this is going to be a long video. Oh, all right. Okay. So goes on like that. And so I need to leave 1/4 of an inch right there and 1/4 of an inch right there. Okay. I think I got it this time. I got it this time. All right, so now I've got a nice straight outside edge. So then we can come in here and add our corner blocks. And since this is the outside edge that I'm trying to kind of keep even, I'm going to lay this on here and leave 1/4 of an inch overhang. I probably ought to measure that. I'm eyeballing it, but I don't know. All right, let's leave that on there. Take it over here carefully. Stitch it on. It could be moved up just a little bit. Let me fix that. Okay, so I have it on there, back on there now. I've got a straight edge there. Same thing on this side. Ooh, Peggy, you're going to have some girls mad at you. You know, though, I encourage you guys. I know it looks difficult, but just try it. I mean, it is a little difficult, but try it. You know, learn something new. It might even help you practice your angles. I did notice one thing, though, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to show this to you on camera. Let me put a pin in this right quick, just so it doesn't move. So when you are sewing these on, if you want to make sure... Boy, that pin ain't sharp. Let me try that again. There we go. Okay, so when you're sewing these on, you see this, where this intersection is, right here. Let me try to, this little intersection right here, that is where you're going to start sewing. When you sew down this, you're going to sew down this way, and that should be 1/4 of an inch. So when you stick it under your presser foot, your needle should start right there where that intersection is, and then you sew down. I don't know, I'm just figuring this out, and that's what I have noticed on this. And I think maybe I had heard somebody talk about this in another video somewhere or something. But that little intersection should be 1/4 of an inch. And if it is, what I'm finding is my things they're fitting on there correctly. They're coming out, yeah, see? So now I have a nice line across there. So that's working out really well. Okay. All right, so we got those two. Those are the outside edges. All right, the next section is this top section that has the A and the 2 D's. There's a top section and a bottom section. Okay, so this is the inside edge on both of these. That's the outside edge. So I'm going to flip this over here and leave 1/4 of an inch on the inside edge. And try to make my inside edge straight, and that way I can use that as a guide to go by. And let me pull this down just a wee bit. We can trim it down then from there. So if I open this up, okay, so I've got a good line from the point here out. So we're going to do the same thing on this side. 1/4 of an inch up here. That seems to be working pretty good for me. Of course, it just depends on which angle you're sewing from also. You know, I'm having to, because I like everything to be over to the left, so I have to turn some of this upside down. But it's working out pretty good because it's giving me something to aim for. And if you'll see my stitches come out right there at that intersection where this piece and this piece meet, you can see. Now when I open this up, perfect. Now I've got a nice straight top line there. It's a flying geese essentially. Huh. What a strange way to do them. I don't know. So now that I know that it's a flying geese, I don't know why. I was looking at that earlier, and I don't know why I didn't recognize that. I guess because, you know, we're used to doing it, starting them with the square. and not triangles. But that's what it is. It's a little flying geese unit. So, okay. So let's get this other one done. But anyway, what I was saying is just try it. Our skill levels are all different, and you might learn something, which I did. Not that I would probably ever do flying geese this way again, but yeah, it's we're learning, right? So 1/4 of an inch over. And now, since I'm sewing from the opposite end, I'm just aiming right toward that little intersection. And my piece should come out correctly. And it did. I got a nice top line there. I've got a nice point. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to put that one there over here. Now I'm going to bring up the center part of this square, which is essentially an hourglass. This must be a really old block because I've never seen an hourglass done this way before. So anyway, we're going to sew this together. We're going to sew these two together, and then bring the two halves together, okay? So I'm going to match up the bottom points on this one. Match up all the sides. They should fit together perfectly. All right, and we're going to do this one the same way. Now when you open this up and press these open, so then you should have two halves, and then they're going to go together just like that. And all you have to match is the center seam. This one was easy. I was nervous. But you know what? We're getting it. I'm proud of myself for doing it. This is what it's all about, you know, just learning different techniques, even if you're probably never ever going to use them again. So line up your center seams. They should nest if you press them to the dark. Alright, and then when you press this open, your point should match right there in the middle. And you should have a little square. Okay, so now we get to put all this together. Let's get it ironed and then let's trim it up. Okay, so here's all my pieces. So I'm going to start with the center one, and I'm going to just press this out a little bit. This looks like it's going to turn out way bigger than... And I'm going to press all of these, and then I'm going to trim off any tails or any dog ears or anything like that. And just square up these units, or straighten them up anyway, so that they all fit together better. So let's do this. Okay, so I am going to bring my board up here, lay these out just like I have them. Yeah, I guess it will be once we get it trimmed up. Okay. So, I've got my handy dandy ruler. So, I'm just going to take this one, and I'm going to use this bottom edge of this triangle as my guide and just trim off both of these little tails. And then I'm going to turn it and trim off the dog ears that are on the top. And just square all that up. Okay, so that unit goes there. And I'm going to do the same thing here and trim off my dog ears on this, just to reduce some bulk. This is my center square. Alright, and I don't know, I think the dark goes to the side, yeah. Let me look at the diagram, because that's the other thing, is making sure it is going correctly. So the dark goes to the outsides. This goes like that. That's okay. Now we got it. All right, so I'm going to move that up there and trim this one. Trim off these dog ears. I'm going to straighten that up a little. It's a little bit wonky. Okay, so then that one goes there. That is not correct. So I'm looking at this, and obviously these are bigger than this, and you know, trying to get it to fit. The instructions, the instructions don't say, but from looking at the pictures, these are going to need to be trimmed to 3.5 wide to fit this, so that we can put this unit together and then put these on there and then trim the entire block. So you will need to go 3.5 inches, so you will need to go 1 3/4 inch from your center point here and over. So what I'm going to do is take 1 3/4 right here on my point and just line that up on the center point and trim off the edge. And then I can come over here and measure this at 3.5 inches. Wow, what a weird way to do a block. Okay, so now that piece will fit on there. Okay, no wonder I was confused. Gosh, you guys are going to hate me on this video. I'm so sorry. So 1 3/4 from the very point of my little geese. So your geese unit should measure 3.5 by 2 inches, it looks like. So I'm going to put my, okay. So then that one will go there, got it. And then this is going to go on there, and we'll have to trim this entire block up. Okay. Oh, what a puzzle. So just take your time. And like I said, the pattern doesn't say a whole lot about a whole lot of nothing, but you know, so that's going to go there, that's going to go there. And then these are going to go here. According to the picture, these points are all going to match at the bottom. We're going to be cutting off some extra. So let's go ahead and sew this center unit together so that we can get this outside unit on. Okay, so your dark fabric should be facing to the sides when you are sewing your little flying geese units on. Wow, what a block. This one really stumped me. And I'm still not sure I'm fixing to have it together correctly, but we'll see. I'm going to push that to the inside. If the pieces weren't so small, they're just so small that it's kind of very confusing. Okay. So my pieces are still just a little bit long, but that's okay. Okay, so when you're adding your outside edges, you know what I need to do? I just need to measure all these units and just write this down in the pattern. Hang on 1 second. Okay, so your center unit here, the very center, should measure 3 1/4 inches square. So when you trim it up, your little flying geese unit should measure 3 1/4 inches by 2 inches. And then these units should measure 6.5 long by 2 inches wide. But be careful when you're trimming these, because you don't want to trim off your dark colors. I wrote it down here at the bottom so that you will know. So what I'm going to do is center this up on here. And that way I'll know I can just trim the whole block down to 6.5 inches. So I'm just going to make a mark on the very center here. And this point here is my center. So I will match that up and then stitch this on. And that should be correct. But if you wanted to just go ahead and trim it down to 6.5 inches, you could, and then center it. Make sure my seams are flipped correct. So your points, all your little points here in the corner should all match. All right, so let's do the same thing with this other unit. So I'm just gonna, I don't know, I'm so sorry if you guys are like pulling your hair out watching this video. I am not the most skilled quilter, so sometimes for me, just the way my brain works, it's really hard for me to figure things out. And sometimes I don't explain myself really well. But anyway, all right, I'm going to make sure my seams are there. Okay, we'll try it again. If we get lucky on this one, we'll be in great shape. Yeah, I didn't see no cutting, you know, trimming instructions in the thing, and so I didn't trim, and I was like, this is not working. All right, there we go. Okay, so your entire unit needs to be iron pressed, and then we need to trim it down to 6.5 inches. Okay, so I've got my 6.5 inch square ruler here. Surprisingly, mine came out pretty close. I was just really shocked, but it did. So I'm going to trim off those, and I'm going to turn this away and trim off these and these. It's just a little shy right here, but I think I can stretch that in there when I am putting my star legs on. It's not very much, so okay, there it is. Oh, what a cute little block, but my goodness, pull your hair out. Wow. Okay, what a doozy that one was, huh? There's got to be an easier way to do this. I'm sure there is, because it's just flying geese units mainly. But yeah, there's our little insert. I am not going to put the star legs on it here on video just because this was so time consuming. But you know, that's kind of like the Eleanor Burns sew along that we did. Try it and learn something new. Like I said, I'm sure there's an easier way to put this together, you know, more modern way. But either way, I got it together. It's 6.5 inches. And so yeah, that's block 19. The aptly named Devil's Claw. All right, so stay tuned and let's get block 20 done. Okay, block 20 is again a bunch of triangles. It can be made with half square triangles though, from the looks of it. It's just an old way to put it together. So all right, so here's block 20. This is called Indian. So you'll need 2 contrasting fabrics. From your light, you're going to cut 1 3.5 inch square and 4 2 3/8 inch triangles cut once diagonally, and also 2 2-inch squares. From your dark fabric, you're going to cut 4 2 3/8 inch squares cut once diagonally, and 2 2-inch squares. So again, she's got a diagram in here. So yeah, let's get this laid out first so we can see where we're at on everything. But like I said, it's got 1 2 3 4, it's got 8 half square triangles in it, which is what we're making with the triangles. But you could easily do this, you know, just make half square triangles to get them to fit in there. So here, let's get this one started. Okay, and again, she has a diagram included in the pattern to lay it out. So you obviously have your center square, and then your 4 2-inch squares. Well, she's got a background there and a background here, and then that one there and that one there. Oh, I think I cut 4 and only needed 2. Okay, those are extras. All right, and then there's half square triangles in the center of these 2 of them in each side there. And so we've got dark and light and dark. This one's going to be a little easier. Thank goodness. That other one, wow, what a doozy. All right, and then you've got a square there. And then the dark goes down this way. So I'm just laying all this out, and then we will piece it together just so that I know where everything goes. And then we have a corner square down at the bottom. And then the dark is this way with that and that. Yeah, if you wanted to just do half square triangles on this one, it looks like these are probably going to measure about 2 inches when finished. Yeah, they'll probably, I think they're going to come out 2 inches when finished. I'll have to measure them once we get them together. Okay, and then this one goes here, and then a dark goes up here, and a light. And it's just in the way you lay them out. Okay, there we go. All right, so I think I need a dark fabric here. No, that's light. Oh, I've got these turned wrong. Hang on one second. Let me relay this out. Okay, I had my half square triangles backwards. You want all the color, dark color of your half square triangles touching your light center fabric. So, according to the pattern, which it was cute the other way, but either way. All right. So now we're just going to flip these over and stitch all these 1/4 of an inch down. And I'm pretty sure these are going to come out to 2.5 inches. I meant 2 inches. Yeah, this pattern, I should have read it. Well, I did read it. I read the whole thing through, but it didn't dawn on me that these triangles, the cutting instructions kind of threw me. I didn't realize they were just going to be little half square triangles. So, if you have an easier way of doing them that you prefer to do, then definitely do them that way. Let's measure these and see what size these are. Yep, 2 by 2. So 2 inch half square triangles, finished half square triangles. So I'm going to get all these sewn together. Okay, so I've got them all pressed and trimmed, and they actually came out surprisingly accurate. So the dark is going to go down and touch the center here, and then you have opposites of your corners. That's going to go like that, then a corner, then this one goes like this, and a corner. Wait a minute, I got something turned around here. Let me look. Okay, so these go this way. They're facing that way. All right, and then these ones are down. Okay, so the layout, just watch your pattern for the layout. She's got it in there. These are up, these are down, these are down, these are up. What confused me is I was using this blue in the pattern here as her dark. It's actually her light. The yellow is her dark. Okay, so now we're good. So then all we've got to do is just sew this top row together. Sew these 2 units together for the sides, and then sew these together, and then attach the sides to the center and attach the top rows. So let's get that done. Okay, so I'm just going to flip these over and just stitch these together right quick. And open that up. I'm going to press that to the outside. So this one goes here. Yeah, those triangles after that other block. Whew. All right, and I'm going to press that one that way, and then add this one. Okay, so this is the top row. All right, and I'm going to do the little sides. They go together like this. Little teeny squares. All right. Okay, so now we're just going to attach the sides. I went ahead and pressed these units with the iron. That one's a little wonky. Just to, so it'd be easier to attach them. They were already pressed. Alright, and then this side goes on there like that. Mine kind of came out a little wonky. I'm thinking I can ease those in there. I'm not sure what I did wrong. Me and tiny pieces don't always get along. So I'm going to press these to the inside and then attach the bottom row like that. Yeah, I've got a little hangover there, but I think it'll be all right. Just line up these corners. On there. All right, almost finished. Last block, yay! Okay, and this one goes here. Just line those up. All right, she's all done. Now this little insert should measure 6.5 inches square. How cute. Ooh, that'd make a pretty quilt if you did it in a bigger size. Let's get it pressed. Yeah, if you did this in a bigger size and made like big 12-inch blocks, what a pretty quilt that would make. Southwestern-y type colors. Mine is a little wonky on this side, so I'm going to have to trim it up just a little. But it should measure 6.5 inches finished. So, and that is the Indian block. What a cute little block. Talk about saving the best for last. What a video. You know, but I like to post how it goes for me because I make the mistakes that you make, and you know, maybe if watching me will help you from making the same mistakes. I don't know, but anyway, so there's that little block. So we've got block 19, which is the Devil's Claw, and this is the Indian block. I really like this. I think in a big, oops, I just dropped that. I think in a big one it'd look great. So let me show you what my quilt is going to look like. I know you guys want to see. I'm anxious too. I have not put it on the wall yet because I was holding out. I wanted to like surprise myself and then decide if I wanted to do sashing or just sew the blocks together. So I'll be right back. Okay, I have them all up, have it all on the wall. And there she is. I wasn't sure when I put it up here. I was looking at it going, man, you can't hardly see the stars or anything. But when I'm looking at it in the camera, you can definitely see the stars. But I think what I'm going to do is actually add some sashing to make it just a little bit bigger. Let me throw some on the wall in between some of those blocks and let's see how that looks. Okay, so I just laid some up there. These are 2.5-inch strips, and it's the same fabric as my star legs. I definitely like this much better. It really sets it off. And so, yeah, I'll have to get some more of the fabric so that I can put it all together. But, yeah, I like it. So, thank you guys so much for coming along with me and letting me sew with you. And I apologize. Sometimes I can be bumbling. You know how it is. But anyway, yeah, so I am so excited for this. This is going to look great, and I can't wait to see all of your quilts. Now, Peggy from Peggy's Quilting Group, she does do edge-to-edge long arm quilting. So if you are interested in sending your quilt to her, she has been doing my quilts for the last couple of years, and I highly recommend her. She does a beautiful job on it. She's got, you know, her prices and everything are on her Facebook page, which is just Peggy's Quilting. And then Peggy's Quilting Group is the actual Facebook group where we all hang out. And yeah, so anyway, I'm excited to get this done. I'm gonna have to pick up some more of that black fabric and I think I'm just gonna do the borders or do the sashing and maybe about a 4 or 5 inch border, and yeah, my quilt's gonna be done. So I will try next month to get in here and get our inserts done for our extra blocks so that we can have those, and that way in case you wanted to add them to your quilt. As it stands, it's 20 blocks, 12.5 inches unfinished. And so yeah, so thank you so much for joining me on this Mystery Star block of the month. I'll see you guys next time.